Hey guys, welcome to a new market update video. First off, if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe and like. Trying to get to 10k subscribers by the end of the year, and I think that should be a realistic target in this case. All right, we're gonna head straight into it. It's good to see roughly the idea I've had for the past few weeks that we needed to cool off a bit. That we've been kind of following this graphic. So of course this was just an estimate of the consolidation I'd like to see. I'm not sure if we're actually gonna follow this. Of course, I think in the end we will need to see a break of trend. So in this case, obviously we're heading against this resistance here currently. If we do break this, that might mean we are ready for the next leg higher. But I will say, of course, first people were drawing it like this. We broke out here, and since then we've kind of just rejected. So that does show some weakness, but obviously this was a sharp rally of these lows. So the fact that it came down a bit and now tried to make a higher low isn't that weird either. I will say, currently it's weekend while I'm recording this. See me close price, which you've obviously seen me post about, I think. It's sitting a bit lower at like 63.5. I will say, obviously, we've seen these being close a lot, and also recently we saw price run up during the weekends, and then usually when futures opened back up, we had a quick wick, after which it just continued going up. Currently, this price action is not very, not your average weekend, I'd say. It's just a slow grind up. Usually, you get like these small moves up and then down, and usually it just keeps hovering around this price. So this is a bit different. Not saying that it won't retrace. I mean, we'll have to see. By the time the video is out, you will have seen this. But I think for now we're focusing on the larger time frame anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, let's just wait and see where this might end up taking us. I do think the longer it takes for us to kind of consolidate here, the better it is for the market. That way that we won't get overheated straight away, because I do think, even though overall I do think we're gonna head higher over the next year or so, but if we do go straight to all-time highs, I think the sentiment and people longing, all the data will get overheated really quickly again. And let's hope the meme coins kind of stay behind and it doesn't get as crazy as it is now, especially on the Solana chain. There's just been a lot of stupid things being launched right now. So yeah, if we go up, I think the best thing for the market would be if it was focused on mainly BTC and the majors. So that is the major market caps, like the top 100, 200 coins. I think that would be the best. And of course, we're still waiting for ETH to finally lead, but we're gonna head into ETH in a bit. So yeah, I mean, for now, consolidating here, I think the main thing you should be worried about is just trying to slowly get some exposure if you don't have it already. Like, I do think, yes, we may go lower, and for all I know, maybe we tap 52k or whatever, but I think that should only be an opportunity to stack more, because in the end, if you believe in this market and if you think we're going to go higher, then the worst thing is to not be allocated, and you're usually best off not or just taking some downside on your holdings than being sidelined when it does actually go up, because when it actually goes, you get these kind of moves, and during these kind of moves you see like there's little corrections, and if you're waiting for like the big dump, it just doesn't come very often, and you might get sidelined for like a 2x move on Bitcoin and even more on alts. So what I wanted to show as well is, with these all-time high breaks in the past, we've usually stalled a bit around the previous all-time high. So here you can see the 2013 high. We retested it in 2017. Initially it broke down a bit, like we swept it, we came down a bit, quite a large correction, but obviously, I mean, Bitcoin was like, I don't know, 50 times as small almost by then. So the volatility was a bit higher. But you can see here, it took a few weeks as well to actually break through, and then we had a big rally. Then 2017, same thing. We didn't quite break it, but we did consolidate below it for like 3-4 weeks, and then we blasted through and we made the high to 65. So obviously this was a big move as well. And then now, I mean, we're kind of doing the same thing here. I think it's a bit of in between, because here we swept it and we came down below it and then started grinding back up. Here we consolidated beneath. But here we got like a tiny rejection for now, and we seem to be consolidating beneath. So maybe like a few more weekly candles around this price wouldn't hurt, which would also correspond with this idea. And then from there now, once it finally breaks through, we should have some more fuel instead of just blasting through, because the more it does in one go without proper consolidation in between, the harder the fall eventually. So I don't think this is bad at all. And I mean, people calling for a triple top, sure, could work. People didn't think this would be a double top either. But overall, seeing this as a new cycle, I do think eventually, whenever it happens and we finally break through, we close above on the weekly, I do think this is just going to expand higher. Then onto ETH. ETH still had a pretty decent correction here. It fell much more than BTC, so the fact that it did like 25% is quite a correction, and I think that's pretty decent. We tapped a 382 here from the Fibonacci retracement. Seems to be holding for now. I think for now we're kind of stuck between, let's say, 2950 and this level at 3600. I do think if we do get back above 36, we can start looking for this 44 level and probably all-time highs as well. Until then, we might just chop around this region for a while, not ruling out, of course, a move to 27 to 28. I think this would be a very nice spot for to build swing long positions potentially, or just add on long-term spot holdings. If we get it, of course, not counting on it. I don't think something like this only happens if BTC would go to like 52k or something. As for now, like this is quite a bit lower, but that would make for like a 33% correction, which isn't odd at all during a big run, especially considering this just basically 3x almost from in this rally. So yeah, just some levels I'm watching here. Bitcoin dominance, it's been super boring here. I mean, we've been going sideways for like 5 months now. The main levels people still seem to be watching, which makes sense, like this 56 to 57% area. I think this 52% area is still important, but eventually, hopefully, when ETH finally outperforms a bit, the ETH-BTC ratio, and we do break below 48, I think this break here would signal some kind of overall altcoin season. Obviously, this move here would already provide some good gains relative from alts to BTC. But until then, I think this is still, I mean, it's an uptrend for Bitcoin dominance, so BTC remains strong. And I don't think we're really going to see this move hard until either the ETH ETF would get approved, which at this point, people are only giving it like a 30% probability, so who knows? But something like this could really signal a reversal on Bitcoin dominance. And maybe after Bitcoin has truly broken above its all-time high, let's say we go to like 80k, then it consolidates for a while. I think that's really when alts start shining, as that's usually what happens. Like Bitcoin breaks all-time high, then it consolidates, alts go, Bitcoin does another leg up, Bitcoin dominance goes up, then it consolidates, comes down, and that's usually how it tends to go. But what I will say, and I've mentioned this before, is what we are seeing this cycle around is just more concentrated bets on certain coins. So right now, obviously, we had huge runs for AI coins and for meme coins more recently. Now the RWA coins seem to be doing well, but it's always like this certain sector, or like 2 or 3 of them, which tend to do well. Well, in the past, if you were around in like 2017 and even big parts of 2021, there was like once alts went, like all of them went. But since then, obviously, I think the amount of alts that are created have like probably at least quadrupled since 2021, and probably like 100x since 2017 or something. So it's good to keep in mind, like with thousands of alts, it's just simply not possible for all of them to pump all at the same time like it was back in the day. I think you will see more concentrated bets on the things that have the mind share of the people right now, like things that are hot, things that are going up. It will just strengthen each other. And I do think eventually, or if we do get it like through alt season and Bitcoin dominance trends down, that most things will go up at the same time, but you will still see heavy outperformers. Well, back in the day, it really didn't matter. You could buy any alt and the next day it would be up 50% during the alt seasons. Like, it was insane, especially in 2017. Moving on, Stacks is one coin I'm still very bullish on. It's something I've talked about a lot, and I mean, it's finally breaking its all-time high now here. Obviously, this is doing much better than many alts, but I mean, it has been consolidating against this all-time high for a while. it's also much stronger during this correction. I mean, obviously BTC is quite a bit away from its all-time highs, but Stacks is just going. And I think this has to do with the Nakamoto upgrade. This is just a way for them. Currently, they're bound by the Bitcoin block time, so it's 10 minutes because it's a layer 2 on Bitcoin. They're going to do some kind of upgrade, the Nakamoto upgrade, somewhere next month surrounding the halving, and that should cut the block times back to like 5 seconds. Today I did experiment buying some kind of altcoin on the Stacks network for the first time, and obviously, I mean, it works kind of the same as any other chain, but you have to wait for these minimum or like sometimes minimum 10-minute block times from BTC for your actual swap to come through. So you can imagine that if this upgrade is here, then the actual protocols or the projects built on top of Stacks actually make some sense to be used. You don't have to wait all the time, and it could actually start igniting this ecosystem a bit. And what I always like, most projects or like most chains do this. For Ethereum, to buy anything or for the gas, you use Ethereum. For Solana, you use Solana. And that's usually what really strengthens these coins as well, because for Solana, obviously, the chain activity has been insane recently, and that's why we had such a big price increase, because everyone is buying Solana to buy other things or to have it on their wallet or to use it for gas. So the more that happens, the more people buy the coin where the chain or the chain they're active on, and that's usually what really strengthens these things. That's the one downside from things like Arbitrum, for example. Well, I do really like Arbitrum a lot. I think this is gonna grow harder, and I do also think that coin is gonna do well overall. But the only downside here is on the Arbitrum chain, you still mainly use ETH for the gas fees because it's an ETH layer 2. So you're not really burning through all this Arbitrum, even though gas fees are low. It still contributes to some extra people just holding it simply for the gas. Like for ETH, for example, if you transact on the ETH chain, all these $10-20 fees every time, it contributes to a lot of ETH being burned and also being bought because of it. And everyone has like a little bit of ETH on each wallet just for this gas, which just stays there. Like it's basically out of the supply for all these millions of wallets. So that's something which will hopefully also work in the favor of Stacks when they get their things going. So Arbitrum, I do think this chart looks decent. I was hoping it would actually retrace to this daily 200 EMA or MA, and it actually did it. So overall, not a bad spot, I think. This just had a huge supply unlock, so the supply went like 2x. Obviously, a lot of it was priced in. That's why it was kind of weak up here. So this actual fall was not really the supply. It was mainly just the overall market, because most coins did this kind of move. It's actually a bit stronger than most similar L2s at this point. So I think the underperformance here was due to the unlock coming up, and I think now that's mostly played out. I think we can just go by the price action again, and I think as long as you hold here above like 155, we can slowly start looking for a move back to these range highs. But I do think this also needs ETH to really start performing to do well. Then some suggestions from you guys. Matic, also layer 2, of course. I think it's basically the biggest one out there, if I'm not mistaken. This thing has underperformed a lot this cycle. This sounds stupid, but only 2x from the October lows, and basically only just started moving out of this diagonal resistance. Do think the chart looks pretty decent here, but I would want to see some more further strength. Maybe if all the layer 2s really start outperforming at some point, this could be a good candidate. Kind of want to see it break 1.3 as well, but I mean, it's a decent spot. I don't dislike the chart. I'm just not sure if this is really going to be a big performer, but who knows? Matic has, it has made these kind of moves in the past, even though it's a huge coin already, so definitely not ruling it out. And there's still a lot of things being built on top of it, also new things I see popping up daily. So definitely not like a ghost chain or anything. Floki, another suggestion of you guys. Well, this obviously had a huge run during the meme mania, and then we didn't really bounce on the 0.382 from this move up, but the 0.5, which corresponded with this previous high, held nicely. So zooming in a bit, we're now stuck within this range. I mean, you could also draw the range low as this. So yeah, I just wait for, if your trading is at all for either of these levels, like let's say we break the range highs, we hold above, then obviously we can look for higher. Maybe you want to get your bits in, maybe we get a sweep, retake the range, then this could be a buy. Obviously, if it falls and it can't retake the range, then might look for lower. But overall, I think this wouldn't be the worst going to trade either, because even if it ranges between this range, I mean, look how massive this is. It's a 75% move up, just buying the range low and selling the high. And for all we know, maybe we do this like a few more times. Wouldn't be the first time until it really takes off, for example. So keep an eye on these levels, I think. Keep it simple. Obviously, these things are very volatile. I mean, you get like these 20% moves in a matter of hours. So be careful. Definitely don't take on much leverage here. But overall, I mean, it seems to be doing well. One of the stronger meme coins currently, I'd say. So yeah, and with that, I'm gonna go quickly to Doge, which is doing quite well as well. I think it's outperforming most meme coins now. Well, it underperformed on the way up, of course. I think there's a lot of people just watching this. I mean, the chart looks good, seems to be finally breaking out. We'll say Doge tends to lead like some kind of overall altcoin strength. It's usually pretty weak, but when it goes, it tends to take a lot of the market with it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. For now, I think there's just been a lot of expectations with the Tesla thing. I think 420 is coming up. Just a lot of things on the radar here. So people seem to be willing to allocate to Doge, which is obviously out of all the meme coins, it's the least volatile one, the biggest one. It's one of the next to Puff. This is the only one I own at this moment. For me, it's just like a longer term hold. I mean, I don't look at it too much anymore. I'm just gonna probably sell when it reaches, I don't know, maybe 50 cents, maybe $1. I think eventually $1 should be possible. But then again, we also have a lot of meme coins now, so it might be harder to take like as much mind share as it did previously when it was one of the few. But we'll see. Maybe we need some Elon magic for it to happen. But overall, chart looks good, so keep an eye on it. And then second to last, Phantom. This thing has just been taking off. I mean, one of the few layer ones that has been doing really well for the, I mean, obviously Solana, AVAX all did well. But this thing has also been continuing the past few days. So pretty impressive. I think this level here is decent to watch. Obviously, it topped out here in May 21, and then we touched it again in September. So staying above like this 96 level would be decent if it can do it. If so, you can look for this 170 level, of course. Just pretty basic, going from one horizontal to the other. In case we do fall lower here, I would just always draw these fib retracements and then watch. I mean, usually 0.382 gives a good reaction up on after such a strong rally. So maybe does something like this to take out these stops from the people placing it below here. And then moves higher. Alternatively, I think if it really falls lower, well, currently, I mean, obviously, trend is strong, so not counting on it. But then this does line up pretty nicely with this high earlier in this cycle. So yeah, it's just some levels to watch out for. And then lastly, Rio. I will say I don't know too much about this project fundamentally. I know it's with real estate and it's an RWA project. I mainly highlighted this because it's been doing really well, just like the other real world asset projects like Ondo, like Mantra. They have all been taking off recently, mainly on the back of this news where BlackRock was getting involved with something RWA related, and they also were moving like 100 million USDC on the e-chain, I think. So all this is contributing to becoming a pretty decent narrative. Obviously, we had the RWA narrative earlier, like a few months ago already, and it's just been kind of moving along, and now it seems to really be accelerating. So depending on what BlackRock is actually going to do with this stuff, I think this may be a good contender for one of the stronger narratives this summer. So definitely keep an eye on these coins. I don't own this. I do own Ondo, or I've invested in Ondo. I do own some Mantra currently. Besides that, I'm not holding any other RWA coins, but I am keeping a close eye on it. And for these things, what I really like doing to keep track of them or to find them is just, let me see if this works, if I copy paste it. Yeah, so on CoinGecko, which is basically like CoinMarketCap in case you don't know it, you also have these nice categories which label all these projects and put them in these categories. So you can simply just go to the search bar and type RWA. Then you scroll down a bit and you get these categories, and then click on this one and you have this list of all these coins that are doing RWA or they're RWA related. And then you can get a nice overview, and you can also get a good feel of which sector is really doing well. So in this case, I see all these coins are up like 20, 30 or even more percent this week. Well, obviously the rest of the market kind of trended down. So that does show a lot of relative strength here, and it's easy to kind of pick out the hot categories doing this. So that's a quick tip for you. And I'm going to end it off right here. So if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe. Trying to get to 10K by the end of the year, like I said. And yeah, have a good week. Take care. Bye-bye.